Yakutia, the frozen heart of Russia. There exists a place where winter reigns for 9 months of the year, where temperatures plummet to minus 70 degrees Celsius, where the ground hasn't thawed in thousands of years, where exhaled breath freezes instantly into crystals that locals call the whisper of stars. This is not Antarctica. This is not the Arctic Ocean. This is inhabited land. This is home to nearly 1 million people who have mastered survival in Earth's coldest, permanently inhabited region. Welcome to Yakutia, the Sakha Republic, the frozen heart of Russia. Larger than India, spanning 3 time zones covered by permafrost up to 500 meters deep, Yakutia is a land of extremes that defies human comprehension. Here, the Lena River freezes solid enough to drive trucks across. Here, diamonds emerge from ancient volcanic pipes. Here, perfectly preserved woolly mammoths emerge from melting ice, their flesh still edible after 40,000 years. But Yakutia is more than extreme cold. It's a crucible where ancient cultures evolved strategies for surviving the unsurvivable, where modern industry extracts unimaginable wealth from frozen earth, where climate change is transforming landscape and life at speeds visible from year to year. This is a journey into cold so profound it becomes almost metaphysical. Into wilderness so vast it swallows human presence, into a culture so resilient it thrives where others would perish in hours. Prepare yourself. What you're about to experience will redefine your understanding of cold, of survival, of what it means to call a place home when that place wants to kill you. Let us venture into the frozen heart. The pole of cold. Oymyakon, the coldest inhabited place. In a valley in eastern Yakutia lies Oymyakon, population 500, holder of the record for the coldest temperature ever recorded in an inhabited place, minus 67.7 degrees Celsius, recorded in 1933. Unofficial readings have gone lower, perhaps minus 71 degrees, cold so extreme that the thermometer couldn't measure it. What does this cold mean in practical terms? Car engines must run continuously or they'll never start again. Batteries die within minutes, steel becomes brittle and shatters, plastic cracks, rubber disintegrates, exposed skin develops frostbite in under 2 minutes. Exhaled breath doesn't just fog, it freezes into ice crystals that tinkle as they fall to the ground. The village name ironically means unfrozen water, a reference to a thermal spring that keeps one small section of river from freezing, providing water for reindeer herds. This spring made the location a traditional stopping point for herders. Soviet authorities, in their wisdom, decided to establish a permanent settlement here. The result is a monument to human stubbornness, a village that exists because someone decided it should, despite every environmental factor screaming otherwise. Life in Oymyakon requires constant vigilance. Buildings are constructed on stilts to prevent structural heat from melting permafrost and causing collapse. Water pipes, if they exist at all, run above ground in insulated boxes. Most residents still use outhouses. Indoor plumbing is nearly impossible when pipes freeze solid. Fish pulled from ice holes freeze in mid-air before they hit the ground. Milk is sold as frozen blocks. Vodka, despite its alcohol content, can freeze. Yet people thrive here. Children attend school unless temperatures drop below -52 degrees Celsius, the official too cold for school threshold. The local market operates year-round. Families gather for celebrations, their homes heated by coal stoves that burn constantly from October through April. But Oymyakon faces an existential threat: climate change. Winters are becoming slightly less severe. Permafrost is beginning to thaw. Buildings are developing cracks as their foundations shift. The identity of coldest place on Earth may not last another generation. Verkhoyansk, the other pole. Oymyakon has a rival. Verkhoyansk, located further north, claims its own record of -67.8 degrees Celsius. The two villages have a friendly competition for the title Pole of Cold, each asserting its supremacy in surviving the unsurvivable. Verkhoyansk's claim to uniqueness extends beyond cold. The town experiences Earth's most extreme temperature range, from -68 in winter to +37 in summer, a swing of 100 degrees Celsius. This thermal volatility creates bizarre effects. Buildings crack from expansion and contraction, roads heave and buckle. The ground itself moves as active layers above permafrost freeze and thaw. Founded in 1638 as a Cossack fort and later used as a place of political exile, Verkhoyansk has a darker history than Oymyakon. Tsarist and Soviet authorities sent political prisoners here, reasoning that the cold was punishment enough. No walls or guards needed. The environment itself was the prison. Many didn't survive their first winter. Today, Verkhoyansk has approximately 1,000 residents, down from its Soviet-era peak. The young leave for warmer climates and better opportunities. Those who remain are committed to Yakut traditions or lack resources to relocate. The town survives on reindeer herding, hunting, and a small amount of tourism from extreme weather enthusiasts. But Verkhoyansk recently made headlines for a different reason. In June 2020, temperatures reached 38 degrees Celsius, the highest temperature ever recorded above the Arctic Circle. The permafrost thawed catastrophically. Buildings collapsed, roads dissolved into mud. The town that exemplified extreme cold became a symbol of extreme climate change. The irony is bitter. The place that defined cold may become uninhabitable, not from freezing, but from thawing. The science of extreme cold. Why is Yakutia so cold? The answer lies in geography, altitude, and atmospheric physics. Yakutia occupies a vast basin between mountain ranges, creating a cold air trap. In winter, Arctic air masses settle into this basin and stagnate. Without ocean influence to moderate temperatures, Yakutia is about as far from open ocean as land can be. The cold intensifies week by week. The winter sun barely rises above the horizon. In Verkhoyansk, winter days last 3 hours. Solar radiation, already weak, strikes at such an angle that most reflects back into space. The snow-covered landscape reflects what little warmth arrives. The result is a positive feedback loop. Cold creates more cold. Clear winter skies, beautiful to observe, are deadly. Cloud cover acts as insulation, trapping heat. Clear skies allow what little warmth exists to radiate directly into space. The coldest temperatures occur on clear, calm nights when nothing prevents heat from escaping. Yakutia's permafrost extends to depths of 500 meters, the deepest on Earth. This frozen ground acts as a massive thermal battery, storing cold accumulated over millennia. Even summer heat can't penetrate more than a few meters. Below that, the ground has been frozen since the last ice age. Scientists study Yakutia as a preview of other planets. Mars, with its extreme temperature swings and permafrost, resembles Yakutia more than anywhere else on Earth. Technologies developed for Yakutian construction, thermal insulation, foundation design, heating systems, inform plans for eventual Mars colonization. The cold also preserves. Yakutia's permafrost contains perfectly preserved specimens from the Ice Age: mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, cave lions, all frozen so quickly that their cellular structure remained intact. These aren't fossils. These are bodies, complete with soft tissue, organs, even stomach contents showing their last meals. As climate warms, these frozen archives are emerging. Each discovery provides insights into extinct ecosystems. Each also releases carbon stored for millennia, accelerating the warming that exposed it. Another feedback loop, this one threatening rather than preserving. Permafrost cities. Yakutsk, the capital of Yakutia, is the largest city built on continuous permafrost. Population 300,000, most living in Soviet-era apartment blocks built on concrete stilts to prevent heat transfer to frozen ground below. Walking through Yakutsk in winter reveals engineering marvels and failures. Successful buildings stand level, their stilts firmly anchored in permafrost. Failed buildings tilt at alarming angles, victims of thawing ground beneath foundations. Some apartment blocks have been abandoned, too dangerous to inhabit, too expensive to demolish. They stand as warnings. Respect permafrost, or it will destroy what you build. The city's infrastructure exists above and below ground simultaneously. Heating pipes, water mains, and sewage systems run through utilidors, insulated above-ground corridors that can be accessed for maintenance without excavating frozen ground. These utilidors create a second city atop the first, a network of tunnels and passages that provide essential services. But climate change is destabilizing everything. Yakutsk's average temperature has risen 2 degrees Celsius in 50 years. This doesn't sound dramatic until you understand that permafrost exists in a narrow temperature range. 2 degrees means the difference between frozen and thawed. Buildings are cracking, roads are collapsing, the airport runway has required constant repair. In 2018, an apartment building's foundation shifted so severely that residents were evacuated permanently. The structure remains, tilting like a drunk giant, too dangerous to approach. City planners face impossible choices: abandon buildings before they collapse, retrofit foundations at enormous cost, relocate the entire city. Each option is catastrophic, financially, socially, culturally, yet life continues. Markets operate in the coldest weather. Children play in parks at -40. Yakutsk hosts theaters, museums, universities. The Saka people, who have inhabited this region for centuries, view the cold not as an enemy, but as a defining characteristic of home. Resilience here isn't metaphorical, it's literal, it's structural, it's survival. The Road of Bones. The R504 Kolyma Highway stretches over 2,000 kilometers through eastern Yakutia and beyond, connecting Yakutsk to Magadan on the Pacific coast. Locals call it the Road of Bones, built by Gulag prisoners whose bodies, when they died from cold or exhaustion, were buried beneath the road they were constructing. The road exists because Stalin wanted access to gold deposits in the Kolyma region. Tens of thousands of prisoners were sent to build it. They worked without adequate clothing, shelter, or food. Winter temperatures reached -60. Summer brought mosquitoes so thick they could suffocate a person. The death toll was staggering. Estimates range from 250,000 to over 1 million. Today, the Road of Bones is Yakutia's primary connection to the outside world. Trucks haul supplies during the brief summer when the road is passable. In winter, the road becomes smoother. Frozen ground provides better surface than summer mud, but exponentially more dangerous. Breakdowns mean death within hours. Running out of fuel means freezing before help arrives. The highway passes through landscapes of surreal beauty and horror. Vast taiga forests give way to tundra, then to mountain passes where wind screams with physical force. Abandoned gulag camps appear periodically, their wooden watchtowers collapsing, their barracks dissolving into earth, their histories marked by crude memorials. In recent years, climate change has made the Road of Bones even more treacherous. Permafrost thaw creates massive sinkholes that appear without warning. Entire sections of road have collapsed into these craters. Summer flooding washes away bridges. The road that killed thousands during construction may become impassable altogether, driving the Yakutia. Road of Bones isn't just dangerous. It's haunted. Every kilometer passes over bodies. Every breath of cold air contains the suffering of those who built this route with their lives. Some drivers report seeing figures along the roadside, hitchhikers who vanish when approached, shadows that move against the wind, voices calling from the forest. Superstition, psychological projection, or something else? In a place where death touched so many, where suffering soaked into the ground itself, perhaps the boundary between past and present becomes permeable. The Road of Bones isn't just a highway, it's a memorial. It's a scar. It's a warning about what humans will do to each other in pursuit of wealth and power. Diamonds and permafrost. Mirny, the diamond crater. In western Yakutia lies Mirny, a city of 40,000 built around a hole in the earth, the Mir Mine, one of the largest diamond mines in the world. The open pit extends over 1,700 meters in diameter and 525 meters deep, descending in terraces that spiral into darkness. The mine was discovered in 1955 when Soviet geologists found kimberlite pipes, volcanic formations that bring diamonds from Earth's mantle to the surface. The discovery was classified as a state secret. The Soviet Union needed diamonds for industrial use, particularly in military applications. Mirny was built with astonishing speed, supplied by air since no roads existed. Mining in Yakutia's permafrost presented unique challenges. The ground was so hard that explosives designed for normal rock couldn't penetrate it. Engineers developed special charges that could fracture frozen ground, but explosions generated heat, which thawed permafrost, which turned the mine into a muddy morass. The solution was winter mining. Wait for the coldest months when everything refroze, then extract as much material as possible before spring. The pit grew deeper, year by year. Helicopters couldn't fly over it. The downdraft created dangerous air currents. In 2001, a helicopter attempting to cross the pit was sucked down by these currents and crashed, killing all aboard. After that, a no-fly zone was established. The open pit closed in 2001, but mining continues underground. Tunnels extend beneath the pit, following diamond-bearing kimberlite deeper into the earth. These underground operations present different challenges: groundwater seepage, structural stability, ventilation in confined spaces where air quality directly impacts survival. But the pit itself remains, a monument to industrial ambition and geological fortune. Proposals to fill it have been rejected. Too expensive, too complex. Proposals to convert it into a covered city or energy storage facility have been floated but never implemented. The pit simply exists, a circular void that can be seen from space, a testament to humanity's willingness to dig holes in the coldest, most hostile environment on Earth in search of crystallized carbon. Mirny's existence depends entirely on diamonds. When the ore body is exhausted, the city will face the same question as every resource extraction town: what happens when the resource runs out? In most places, this question unfolds over decades. In Yakutia, where every supply must be imported, where infrastructure requires constant maintenance, the question is more urgent. The diamonds that built Mirny may also doom it. Ice Age, preserved mammoth graveyard. Yakutia is the world's premier source of mammoth remains. Every year, thawing permafrost exposes woolly mammoths, preserved so completely that their flesh, fur, and internal organs remain intact after 40,000 years. The mammoth ivory trade is substantial. Mammoth tusks, legal to collect and sell unlike elephant ivory, command high prices from carvers and collectors. Yakutian hunters spend summers searching riverbanks and eroding cliffs for exposed ivory. A single large tusk can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But the most valuable finds are complete mammoths. Scientists pay substantial sums for intact specimens that can be studied. In 2013, a female mammoth recovered from Yakutia was so well preserved that blood was extracted from her veins. The blood had been frozen in mid-circulation 40,000 years ago. These discoveries raised tantalizing questions about de-extinction. Could mammoth DNA be used to resurrect the species? Scientists have extracted viable DNA from Yakutian mammoths. The technology for cloning exists. The ethical questions are profound. Some researchers argue mammoths could help combat climate change. Large herbivores trampling Arctic tundra convert shrubland back to grassland, which reflects more sunlight and keeps permafrost frozen. Mammoths, engineered or resurrected, could perform this ecological function. Others argue de-extinction is hubris. We drove mammoths to extinction through hunting and climate change. Bringing them back addresses neither the ethics of extinction nor the climate crisis. It's technological showmanship, not conservation. Meanwhile, thawing permafrost continues to expose mammoths at accelerating rates. Rivers undermining frozen banks uncover tusks, bones, entire skeletons. Indigenous communities have collected mammoth ivory for centuries, but commercial hunting is relatively recent. The Saka people have complex traditions regarding mammoths. Some view them as sacred creatures whose remains should not be disturbed. Others see ivory as an economic resource that belongs to whoever finds it. Conflicts arise between traditional beliefs and economic necessity. What's undeniable is this: Yakutia is a time capsule. The permafrost preserved not just mammoths, but an entire ecosystem. Cave lions, woolly rhinoceroses, giant deer, steppe bison all emerge from melting ice, specimens so perfect they appear recently dead rather than ancient. Each discovery provides data about Ice Age ecology, climate, and extinction events. Each also signals how quickly permafrost is thawing. The mammoth graveyard is opening. What emerges will rewrite our understanding of the past. What the opening signifies for the future is far more troubling. The Batagaika Crater. In northern Yakutia, the land has opened. The Batagaika Crater, locally called the Gateway to the Underworld, is a massive thermokarst depression, a collapsed area where thawing permafrost has caused ground subsidence. The crater measures nearly a mile long and 300 feet deep, still expanding at rates of 10 to 30 meters per year. It began forming in the 1960s when forest was cleared for mining. Without tree cover to insulate the ground, permafrost began thawing. The ground collapsed. Once started, the process accelerated. Walking to the crater's edge reveals geological history. The exposed walls show layers of permafrost accumulated over hundreds of thousands of years. Ice lenses the size of cars jut from cliff faces. Organic matter, frozen since before modern humans existed, thaws and decomposes, releasing millennia of accumulated carbon. The crater exposes specimens from multiple Ice Age periods. Researchers have recovered bones from ancient horses, bison, mammoths, and smaller animals. Tree trunks from forests that grew 200,000 years ago emerge perfectly preserved. Pollen samples reveal what plants grew during different climate periods. But the crater is also terrifying. It demonstrates how quickly landscape can change when permafrost thaws. What was solid ground becomes void in decades. The crater's expansion threatens a nearby highway. If the highway is cut, communities beyond will be isolated. Locals avoid the crater when possible. Superstitions hold that it's cursed, that disturbing it brings misfortune. Scientists studying it sometimes report unease. a feeling of wrongness, of witnessing something that shouldn't be happening. The Batahaika crater is a preview. As climate warms, similar craters will appear across Yakutia and other permafrost regions. The ground we assumed solid is hollow, honeycombed with ice that's beginning to melt. When it does, the landscape collapses into voids that grow year by year. We're witnessing the beginning of a transformation that will reshape northern landscapes. The frozen ground that defined these regions for millennia is disappearing. What replaces it, we're only beginning to understand. Ancient viruses and bacteria. Yakutian permafrost doesn't just preserve large animals. It preserves microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, frozen in midlife 40,000 years ago or longer. French scientists studying permafrost samples from Yakutia discovered viable bacteria frozen for 3 million years. When thawed, the bacteria resumed metabolic activity. They weren't fossils. They were dormant, waiting for warmth to return. More disturbingly, giant viruses have been recovered from Yakutian permafrost. Viruses of types unknown to modern science, some capable of infecting amoebas, others of unknown host specificity. These viruses were frozen for 30,000 years. When thawed in laboratory conditions, they became active again. This raises alarming questions. What else is frozen in permafrost? What diseases affected Ice Age animals and humans? What pathogens were circulating 40,000 years ago? Could ancient diseases, for which modern humans have no immunity, emerge as permafrost thaws? The scenario isn't theoretical. In 2016, an anthrax outbreak in Yakutia killed thousands of reindeer and hospitalized dozens of people. The source was traced to a thawed reindeer carcass that had died of anthrax decades earlier. The bacteria, frozen in permafrost, became viable when the carcass thawed during an unusually warm summer. If anthrax can survive decades frozen, what about viruses? What about bacteria that were common 40,000 years ago but went extinct after the Ice Age? What novel pathogens might permafrost contain? Scientists studying this phenomenon exercise extreme caution. Samples are handled in biosafety facilities. Procedures prevent accidental release. But natural thawing of permafrost requires no safety protocols. What emerges from melting ground does so without human oversight. The Yakutian permafrost is a biological archive. It preserves genetic material from extinct organisms, data about ancient ecosystems, and potentially active pathogens from disease outbreaks millennia past. As this archive thaws, its contents are released into modern environments. We're conducting an uncontrolled experiment in microbiology. The results could range from academically interesting to catastrophic. The Yana rhinoceros horn site. In northern Yakutia, archaeologists discovered the Yana rhinoceros horn site, evidence of human habitation dating to 30,000 years ago, the oldest known human settlement in the Arctic. The site, preserved by permafrost, contained stone tools, ivory needles, and weapons made from mammoth tusks and woolly rhinoceros horn. These weren't crude implements. These were sophisticated tools requiring advanced manufacturing techniques. The site's significance extends beyond age. It demonstrates that humans adapted to Arctic conditions far earlier than previously believed. 30,000 years ago, this region was experiencing Ice Age conditions even harsher than today's climate. Yet humans not only survived, they thrived, developing specialized tools and techniques for cold weather hunting and living. The preservation is extraordinary. Organic materials that would have decayed in normal conditions remained frozen. Wooden tool handles, sinew cordage, leather fragments, all preserved well enough to study construction techniques used by Ice Age hunters. Recent analysis of DNA from the site revealed genetic material from humans, mammoths, and other animals. The human DNA showed populations that no longer exist, genetic lineages that disappeared during subsequent migrations and population changes. The Yana site raises profound questions. How did these early humans survive? What clothing technologies did they develop? How did they maintain fire in conditions where wood was scarce? What social structures allowed cooperation necessary for survival? We're only beginning to understand. The site is remote, accessible only by helicopter for brief summer periods. Excavation is difficult. Permafrost must be carefully thawed without destroying artifacts. Each season reveals new artifacts, new insights into human adaptation to extreme cold. But climate change threatens the site. As permafrost thaws, artifacts are exposed to decomposition. The same thawing that reveals new material also destroys it. Archaeologists race against time, excavating what they can before irreplaceable evidence of human history degrades beyond recovery. The Yana site demonstrates human resilience. Our ancestors conquered the coldest habitable regions of Earth with Stone Age technology. That same site now demonstrates our vulnerability. Climate change of our own making destroys the evidence of past survival. The Saka people, horse culture in the frozen north. The Saka people, also called Yakuts, are Turkic pastoralists who migrated north from Central Asia centuries ago, bringing horse culture to the Arctic. This should have been impossible. Horses are not Arctic animals. Yet the Saka not only brought horses to Yakutia, they developed breeds specifically adapted to extreme cold. The Yakutian horse is a stocky, hardy animal covered in winter coat so thick it resembles fur. These horses can withstand temperatures of -60 degrees Celsius. They dig through snow to reach frozen grass beneath. They survive on forage that would starve other horses. For the Saka, horses are not just transportation or food. They're sacred animals, central to cultural identity and spiritual practice. The mare's milk fermented into kumis is a traditional drink. Horse meat sustains families through winter. Horse hide provides clothing and shelter material. But horses also represent connection to warmer southern origins. Maintaining horse herds in Yakutia requires enormous effort, building shelters, storing feed, protecting animals from wolves and bears. That the Saka persisted in this effort, generation after generation, demonstrates cultural commitment beyond practical necessity. Traditional Saka society was organized around horse herding. Wealthy families owned large herds. Social status correlated with horse numbers. Marriages involved horse-based dowries. Even today, among Saka maintaining traditional lifestyles, horses remain central to identity. The Iceland festival, the Saka New Year celebration, centers on horses. Kumis is blessed and drunk communally. Horse races demonstrate riding skill. Traditional epic poems recount legendary horses and their riders. The festival occurs at summer solstice, the briefest night of the year, celebrating light's victory over winter darkness. But climate change affects horse culture. Winters are becoming more unpredictable. Sudden thaws followed by refreezing create ice layers that horses can't break through to reach grass. Summer droughts reduce available forage. Changing conditions force adaptations to practices refined over centuries. Younger Saka increasingly move to cities, pursuing educations and careers incompatible with horse herding. Traditional knowledge, how to read weather signs, how to treat horse ailments with traditional medicine, how to survive on the land, passes away with elders. The Saka horse culture survived Russian colonization, Soviet collectivization, and 5 centuries of extreme climate. Whether it survives modernity and climate change remains uncertain. Reindeer nomads. While the Saka brought horse culture north, indigenous peoples like the Evenks, Evens, and Yukagir practiced reindeer nomadism, following herds across tundra and taiga in seasonal migrations spanning hundreds of kilometers. Reindeer nomadism is perfectly adapted to Arctic conditions. Reindeer provide transportation, food, clothing, and shelter material. They require no stored feed. They forage on lichen and tundra vegetation. They move constantly, preventing overgrazing. The lifestyle requires no permanent infrastructure, making it resilient to environmental change. But this lifestyle is disappearing. Soviet policies forced nomads into settlements, disrupting migration patterns. Modern borders and industrial development, mining, pipelines, roads, fragment traditional routes. Younger generations prefer settled life with modern conveniences. Climate change presents new challenges. Warming temperatures extend the range of parasites that afflict reindeer. Changed snow conditions make traditional migration routes impassable. Thawing permafrost creates unstable ground that injures animals. Yet some Evenk and Even families maintain nomadic traditions. They move with their herds, living in portable tents, following patterns their ancestors established. For them, this isn't poverty or backwardness. It's cultural continuity, spiritual practice, and practical adaptation to environment. Anthropologists and activists work to document and preserve nomadic knowledge before it disappears. Traditional ecological knowledge, understanding animal behavior, predicting weather, identifying edible and medicinal plants, represents centuries of accumulated wisdom. This knowledge is invaluable for understanding Arctic ecosystems, yet it exists mostly in memories of elders. The tragedy is this: as climate change accelerates, traditional knowledge about adapting to Arctic conditions becomes more valuable precisely as it disappears. We're losing adaptability at the moment we need it most. Saka language and oral tradition. The Saka language, a Turkic language unrelated to Russian, survives as a vibrant living language spoken by nearly 500,000 people. This survival is remarkable given Russian language dominance and Soviet-era policies discouraging minority languages. Saka has complex grammatical structures reflecting the culture's relationship with environment. Multiple words describe different types of snow, ice, and cold. Verb tenses encode not just when something happened, but how the speaker knows it happened, direct observation versus hearsay. The language preserves oral tradition, epic poems. Called Olanko, some lasting many hours in performance, recount legendary heroes, supernatural beings, and creation myths. These epics were transmitted orally for centuries, memorized and performed by specialized storytellers. UNESCO recognized Olanko as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. But the tradition faces extinction. Few young people learn the epics. The memorization skills required, holding tens of thousands of lines of poetry in memory, are becoming rare. Recordings preserve performances, but recordings aren't living tradition. The Saka language also contains shamanic vocabulary, words for spirits, rituals, and altered states of consciousness. Traditional Saka spirituality involved shamans who mediated between human and spirit worlds, traveling through cosmic layers during trance states induced by drumming and chanting. Soviet authorities suppressed shamanism as superstition. Shamans were arrested or killed. Sacred objects were destroyed. The practice went underground, preserved secretly by families who continued traditions despite persecution. Since the Soviet collapse, Saka shamanism has experienced revival. New shamans claim inheritance of traditional powers. Tourists attend ceremonies. But anthropologists debate authenticity. How much current practice represents unbroken tradition versus reconstruction based on fragmentary records? The question may be unanswerable. What matters is that Saka people are reclaiming spiritual practices that connect them to ancestors and land. In a region undergoing catastrophic environmental change, these spiritual connections provide cultural continuity and psychological resilience. Traditional Saka architecture. The traditional Saka dwelling, called a balagan, is an architectural marvel of cold climate adaptation. Built from logs with sloped roof and earthen insulation, the balagan was designed to conserve heat while allowing smoke escape. The structure is partially underground, with earthen walls providing insulation. The roof, covered with birch bark and sod, offers additional thermal protection. Inside, a central hearth provides heat and cooking fire. Sleeping platforms along walls keep people elevated above cold floor level. But the most distinctive feature is the entrance, a low tunnel requiring people to crawl, preventing cold air infiltration. This design principle, minimizing openings, creating airlocks, appears in traditional Arctic architecture worldwide, developed independently by cultures facing similar challenges. Soviet authorities discouraged balagani, considering them primitive. They built standard Soviet housing, concrete apartment blocks designed for moderate climates, completely unsuited to permafrost conditions. These buildings cracked, tilted, required enormous heating costs, and represented cultural erasure disguised as modernization. Today, few traditional Balagani remain. Some exist as museum pieces or tourist attractions. A handful are maintained by families preserving traditional lifestyles. But practical knowledge of Balagan construction is disappearing with elders who remember building them. Ironically, modern architects are rediscovering principles embedded in traditional design. Passive solar heating, earth insulation, minimized thermal bridges. The Balagan, dismissed as primitive, embodied sophisticated understanding of thermodynamics. Some contemporary Saka architects are creating new designs that honor traditional principles while incorporating modern materials and conveniences. These hybrid structures attempt to bridge cultural continuity and contemporary needs, creating architecture that's both Saka and modern. This architectural renaissance represents broader pattern. Indigenous knowledge, suppressed as backward, is being recognized as containing solutions to contemporary problems. The ancestors who developed strategies for extreme cold survival weren't primitive. They were engineers responding to environmental challenges with available materials and accumulated wisdom. We dismissed their solutions. Now we're desperately trying to remember what was lost. Lena River, the frozen artery. The mighty Lena. The Lena River, fourth longest in the world, dominates Yakutian landscape and life. Rising in mountains near Lake Baikal, the Lena flows 4,400 kilometers north through Yakutia to the Arctic Ocean, draining an area larger than Western Europe. For 8 to 9 months annually, the Lena is frozen solid. Ice thickness reaches 2 to 3 meters, strong enough to support trucks carrying supplies to remote communities. The frozen river becomes a highway, smoothest and often only route to settlements with no road access. But the spring breakup is catastrophic. As temperatures rise, ice begins melting from beneath while surface remains frozen. Pressure builds. Eventually, ice cracks with explosive force. Massive ice flows weighing hundreds of tons crash downstream, destroying anything in their path. Ice jams form when flows accumulate at river bends or narrows, creating temporary dams. Water backs up behind these jams, flooding surrounding areas. When jams break, walls of water surge downstream with devastating force. Communities along the Lena have been destroyed repeatedly by breakup flooding. Yet, people return. They rebuild. The Lena provides transportation, water, fish. Life without the river is impossible. Life with the river requires accepting periodic destruction as the price of residence. Climate change is altering breakup patterns. Earlier melting creates different ice dynamics. Increased water volume from thawing permafrost means larger floods. Some communities are relocating to higher ground. Others fortify against floods they know will worsen. The Lena also reveals geological history. The Lena Pillars, a series of vertical rock formations along the river, rise up to 100 meters high, ancient limestone cliffs carved by erosion into fantastic shapes. These pillars contain fossils from the Cambrian period, when this region was tropical seabed. Walking among the Lena Pillars feels like traveling through geological time. Each layer represents millions of years of deposition. Each fossil shows life forms long extinct. The pillars demonstrate how radically climate can change, from tropical ocean to frozen tundra, over geological timescales. Now we're inducing similar changes over human timescales. The question is whether we can adapt as successfully as the rocks. River communities. Along the Lena River, dozens of small communities survive in extreme isolation. Many have no road access. They're supplied by boat during brief summer navigation season and by winter road over frozen river. These communities maintain existence through a combination of subsistence activities, fishing, hunting, gathering, and government subsidies. Life is difficult, supplies are expensive, medical care is minimal, young people leave at first opportunity. Yet some residents wouldn't live anywhere else. They cite connection to land, traditional lifestyle, and freedom from urban pressures. In cities, they say, people are crowded but lonely. Here, populations are sparse, but everyone knows everyone. Community bonds are strong because survival depends on mutual aid. Winter isolation can be psychologically challenging. Months of darkness, temperatures preventing outdoor activity, limited communication with outside world. Some residents develop seasonal depression. Others thrive in the quiet, using long winter for crafts, reading, or spiritual practice. The spring river breakup is celebrated as a festival. When ice begins moving, entire communities gather to watch, cheering as winter's grip breaks. The event marks transition from isolation to connection, from endurance to renewal. But these communities face existential threats. Climate change is making river navigation more unpredictable. Floods are becoming more severe. Permafrost thaw is destabilizing buildings. Government subsidies are declining as Russian federal budgets tighten. Some demographers predict these communities will be abandoned within a generation. Others argue they'll persist as long as people choose traditional lifestyles over urban alternatives. The truth likely lies between. Some communities will endure, others will fade, the choice depending on complex factors including individual determination, government support, and climate impacts. Fish of the frozen river. The Lena River hosts unique fish species adapted to extreme cold. The Siberian sturgeon, one of the largest freshwater fish, migrates up the Lena to spawn. These ancient fish, largely unchanged for millions of years, can live over a century and grow to enormous size. But overfishing and habitat destruction have decimated sturgeon populations. The Lena once teemed with them. Now, catching a large sturgeon is rare. Conservation efforts attempt to restore populations, but success is limited by continued illegal fishing and environmental degradation. Other species, whitefish, omul, nelma, provide subsistence for river communities. Ice fishing sustains families through winter. Holes are drilled through thick ice, nets lowered into frigid water. Fish, when pulled out, freeze solid within minutes. These fish have antifreeze proteins in their blood, allowing survival in water temperatures that would kill most species. Their flesh, when eaten raw and frozen, a traditional delicacy called stroganina, tastes remarkably different from thawed fish, with a texture and flavor impossible to replicate by freezing fresh fish. Climate change affects fish populations. Warming water stresses cold-adapted species. Altered river flow patterns disrupt spawning. Increased permafrost thaw introduces sediment that smothers spawning grounds. The fish that sustained human populations for millennia face uncertain futures. The Delta. Where the Lena empties into the Arctic Ocean, the river fragments into hundreds of channels, creating one of the world's largest river deltas. The Lena Delta covers 32,000 square kilometers of wetlands, lakes, and islands, a vast wilderness supporting millions of migratory birds. The Delta is a biological hotspot. Despite extreme cold, the brief summer explosion of life is spectacular. Waterfowl arrive by the millions to breed. Arctic foxes hunt nesting birds. Fish move through channels. The landscape transforms from frozen wasteland to teeming ecosystem in weeks. But the Delta is also ground zero for climate change impacts. Permafrost thaw is dramatically altering landscape. Islands are eroding into the Arctic Ocean at rates of several meters per year. New channels form as ice-rich permafrost melts and collapses. The Delta's geography is transforming visibly year to year. Scientists use the Lena Delta as a natural laboratory for studying permafrost thaw and its consequences. Research stations monitor ground temperature, methane emissions, erosion rates, and ecosystem changes. The data is sobering. Changes are occurring faster than predicted by models. Indigenous communities in the Delta face impossible choices. Their settlements, built on permafrost, are collapsing. They can relocate, abandoning ancestral lands, or stay and continuously repair damage. Neither option is sustainable long-term. The Lena Delta demonstrates a harsh truth. Arctic ecosystems adapted to extreme cold are proving extremely vulnerable to even modest warming. The resilience that allowed life to persist through harsh conditions doesn't translate to resilience against rapid change. Modern Yakutia, Yakutsk. Permafrost. Metropolis. Yakutsk, with 300,000 residents, is the world's coldest major city. It's also one of the fastest growing, attracting migrants from across Russia and beyond, drawn by diamond mining jobs and relatively high wages. The city presents surreal contrasts. Modern apartment towers stand on stilts like mechanical giants. Shopping malls compete with any in Moscow, their heated interiors a stark contrast to -50 outside. Traffic jams form at -40, cars running continuously, drivers wearing fur hats and heavy coats even for brief trips. Winter in Yakutsk is a battle against cold. Buses run constantly. If they stop, engines freeze. Cars must be plugged into electrical heating posts overnight. Outdoor markets sell frozen fish stacked like cordwood, frozen milk in blocks, frozen meat that must be sawed rather than cut. Yet life continues normally by local standards. Children attend school unless temperatures drop below -50. Businesses operate. People socialize. There's a saying, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing. Yakutsk residents invest heavily in clothing. Fur coats, fur hats, insulated boots. Proper clothing makes -40 merely uncomfortable rather than deadly. The city has developed unique cultural identity. Yakutsk hosts theaters, museums, and universities. The Sakha Theater performs traditional and contemporary works in the Sakha language. The Mammoth Museum displays Ice Age specimens. The Melnikov Permafrost Institute attracts scientists worldwide. But Yakutsk faces existential crisis. Permafrost thaw is accelerating. Buildings are collapsing. Infrastructure is failing. The city requires constant, expensive maintenance just to remain habitable. Long-term sustainability is questionable. Some planners advocate controlled retreat, gradually relocating population to more stable locations. Others propose massive infrastructure investment, essentially rebuilding the city with foundations designed for thawing permafrost. Both options are politically and economically difficult. Meanwhile, residents cope. They repair buildings, they adapt, they persist. Yakutsk has survived for nearly 4 centuries. Residents believe it will survive this challenge too. Whether belief translates to reality remains uncertain. The frozen ground that preserved diamond-bearing kimberlite for millions of years is becoming a liability rather than merely an obstacle. Alrosa is adapting. New mines are designed for thawing conditions. Processing facilities are being relocated to more stable ground. But adaptation has limits. If permafrost thaw continues accelerating, some operations may become economically unviable. The diamond industry built modern Yakutia. It may also determine Yakutia's future. Whether the region thrives, adapts, or declines depends partly on whether diamond extraction remains profitable in changing climate. Education and youth flight. Yakutia has strong educational institutions. Northeastern Federal University in Yakutsk is the largest university in northeastern Russia, offering programs in science, humanities, and professional fields. Students come from across Russia and neighboring countries. But a pattern persists. Young people leave. They study in Yakutsk or further south, then don't return. The pull of warmer climates, more diverse economies, and cultural amenities is strong. Parents invest in children's education, knowing education means departure. This brain drain threatens Yakutian future. The skilled professionals needed for economic diversification and adaptation to climate change are leaving. Villages lose their young adults. Urban areas age. Birth rates decline below replacement level in many communities. Government initiatives attempt to reverse the trend. Subsidies for young professionals who return. Housing assistance. Preference in hiring for local residents. But these measures compete against powerful forces: opportunity, climate, cultural pull of major cities. Some young people do return, motivated by connection to homeland, family obligations, or desire to contribute to Sakha culture preservation. These returnees often become community leaders, teachers, activists. Their choice to return is countercultural, requiring justification to peers who view departure as natural progression. The tension between leaving and staying defines young Yakutian identity. Social media allows departed youth to maintain connections, participate virtually in home communities. But virtual participation isn't presence. It doesn't address depopulation's practical consequences. Yakutia's greatest resource isn't diamonds or gold, it's people. If demographic trends continue, the region faces future where vast wealth in ground cannot be extracted because insufficient population remains to do the work. Tourism in the cold. Yakutia has begun developing extreme cold tourism. Visitors pay substantial sums to experience -50, to stay in ice hotels, to photograph frost-covered landscapes, and the whisper of stars. The tourism pitch is simple. Experience Earth's coldest inhabited place. Walk where few tourists venture. Test yourself against cold that must be experienced to be believed. Photography opportunities are unmatched. Landscapes, ice formations, traditional culture. Tour companies offer packages. Visit Oymyakon, meet reindeer herders, try traditional Saka food, witness ice fishing. Some tours include cultural performances, throat singing, epic poem recitation, shamanic ceremonies, staged for tourists but based on traditional practice. The economic benefit is modest but growing. Tourism provides alternative employment, encourages cultural preservation, builds international awareness. Indigenous communities can monetize traditional knowledge and practices, creating incentive for younger generations to learn them. But tourism has complications. The very cold that attracts tourists is dangerous. Tour operators must ensure safety while delivering authentic experience. The infrastructure for cold weather tourism is minimal. Few hotels outside Yakutsk, limited transportation, emergency services stretch thin. Climate change is also affecting tourism. Warmer winters mean less extreme cold. The pole of cold designation may become less meaningful if temperatures moderate. Paradoxically, tourism marketing based on extreme cold may accelerate the warming that undermines it. Air travel emissions, infrastructure construction, energy consumption all contribute to climate change. Some Saka activists oppose tourism expansion, arguing it commodifies culture and disrupts traditional life. Others support it as economic opportunity and cultural preservation tool. The debate mirrors broader tensions between economic development and cultural environmental protection. Indigenous rights and resource extraction. Yakutia's indigenous peoples, Saka, Evenks, Evans, Yukagir, and others, have complex legal status. The Saka Republic has substantial autonomy within Russian Federation, with Saka language having official status alongside Russian. But autonomy has limits. Resource extraction decisions are made in Moscow. Mining operations proceed without indigenous consultation. Traditional territories are appropriated with minimal compensation. Legal protections for indigenous rights exist on paper but are weakly enforced. The Saka, being majority population in the Republic, have more political power than smaller indigenous groups. Evenk and even communities, numbering in thousands rather than hundreds of thousands, have less influence. Their traditional territories are remote, making resource extraction easier to impose without urban Saka witnessing impacts. Recent conflicts have erupted over mining expansion. Indigenous communities block roads, petition authorities, organize protests. They're motivated by environmental concerns and cultural preservation, but also by economic grievances, seeing wealth extracted from their lands while receiving minimal benefit. The Russian government's response has been mixed. Some concessions have been made: increased compensation, environmental mitigation requirements, consultation procedures. But fundamental power dynamics haven't changed. The state controls resources. Indigenous peoples can petition but not prevent extraction. Climate change adds urgency. As permafrost thaws, traditional hunting and herding territories become unusable. Indigenous communities need alternative economies, but alternatives require capital, infrastructure, and political support, all in short supply. Some indigenous activists frame climate change as continuation of colonialism, external forces imposing changes that devastate indigenous life without consent or compensation. Others focus on practical adaptation, seeking resources and support for communities to adjust to changing conditions. The common thread is determination to survive. Indigenous peoples of Yakutia survived Russian conquest, Soviet oppression, and 5 centuries of resource extraction. They intend to survive climate change too. Whether they can depends partly on actions of governments and corporations, partly on their own resilience and adaptation. Iceland, the land of fire and ice. There exists an island forged by fire and sculpted by ice. A land where volcanoes erupt beneath glaciers, creating floods of biblical proportions, where geysers explode skyward with clockwork precision, where waterfalls cascade from lava cliffs into fjords carved by ancient ice. This is a place where the Earth's crust is literally tearing apart, where you can stand with one foot in North America and the other in Europe. Where hot springs bubble beside frozen tundra, where summer brings endless daylight and winter wraps the land in 20-hour darkness. Illuminated only by dancing auroras. Welcome to Iceland. You're about to discover a place where the Earth reveals its raw power, its capacity for both destruction and creation, its terrible beauty. Welcome to the land of fire and ice. The Golden Circle, Thingvellir, where continents divide. Thingvellir National Park is where continents literally pull apart. Walking through Almannagjá Gorge means walking between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates, separating by 2 centimeters annually. The rocky walls belong to different continents, diverging as magma pushes from Earth's mantle. The ground is volcanic rock that didn't exist a few million years ago. The valley floor is fractured with fissures, each representing where crust split. Silfra Fissure offers diving between continents in water, so clear visibility exceeds 100 meters. The glacial meltwater, filtered through porous lava for decades, is brutally cold but pristine. Divers describe flying through liquid crystal. You can touch 2 continents simultaneously. But Thingvellir transcends geology. This valley hosted the Alþingi, Iceland's parliament established in 930 CE, one of the world's oldest. For centuries, chieftains gathered here to settle disputes and pass laws. The law rock, Lögberg, is where the law speaker recited Iceland's legal code from memory. In 1000 CE, Þingvellir witnessed Iceland's decision to adopt Christianity through democratic vote rather than conquest. Standing at Lögberg, you're where Iceland's identity was forged. Where Vikings transformed from raiders into legislators. This is Iceland in microcosm. Fire and ice, history and geology combined in landscapes that defy categorization. From viewpoints above, the rift's scale becomes apparent, extending across Iceland's interior. To the north lies Langjökull Glacier, feeding rivers that cascade into Þingvellir. This convergence of tectonic forces, glacial hydrology, and human history creates a landscape of layered significance, where Earth's internal forces manifest visibly, and where civilization adapted to geology's demands. Geyser and Strókur. The word geyser comes from Geysir, Iceland's famous hot spring that gave all geysers their name. Though geyser itself is mostly dormant, erupting only after earthquakes, its neighbor Strókur performs reliably every 5 to 10 minutes, shooting boiling water and steam 20 to 40 meters skyward. Strókur announces eruptions with increased bubbling. Water churns and swirls, forming a dome that stretches upward like a liquid balloon before exploding violently. The eruption lasts mere seconds, but is spectacular. Tourists crowd around with cameras, trying to time the perfect shot, challenging since exact timing varies. Between eruptions, the pool shows convection currents as cold water sinks and hot water rises. Underground, water superheats beyond boiling point, but pressure prevents boiling. When pressure releases, water flashes to steam, forcing the dramatic eruption, a cycle powered by magma chambers kilometers below. The surrounding geothermal area features steaming vents, bubbling mud pots, and mineral-stained ground. The sulfur smell announces volcanic gases from Earth's interior. Minerals precipitate from superheated water, painting landscapes in vivid yellows, oranges, and reds. The ground is warm to touch in places, dangerously hot in others. Signs warning visitors to stay on marked paths are serious. Breaking through fragile crust into boiling water has caused severe injuries. This isn't just spectacle. Iceland harnesses this volcanic heat for energy, heating 90% of homes geothermally, generating electricity from steam. The force that once made Iceland barely habitable now powers a modern, sustainable society, making Iceland a world leader in renewable energy. The geothermal activity represents Iceland's future as much as its present. Gullfoss, the Golden Falls, is arguably Iceland's most magnificent waterfall. The Vita River, fed by Langjökull Glacier, plunges 32 meters in 2 stages into a narrow canyon. The power is immense. 140 cubic meters of water per second on average, increasing to over 2,000 during spring melt. Viewing platforms bring you close enough to feel the mist, hear the roar, sense the raw power of glacial water carving through ancient lava. Rainbows form constantly in the spray when sunlight breaks through Iceland's clouds. In winter, ice formations along the edges create impossible beauty. Though the main cascade never freezes due to sheer volume and force. The fall's name comes from the golden hue that sunset light creates in the mist, or possibly from golden-colored glacial sediment in the water. The canyon walls show layers of basalt from successive lava flows, each representing an eruption separated by centuries. The river has carved through these layers over millennia, creating the narrow gorge into which the falls plunge. Gullfoss nearly became a hydroelectric dam in the early 20th century. Foreign investors sought to harness the fall's power, but Sigridur Tómasdóttir, daughter of the land's owner, walked to Reykjavik repeatedly to protest. Legend says she threatened to throw herself into the falls if construction proceeded. Whether through her determination or legal complications, the project was abandoned. Gullfoss remains free-flowing thanks to this early environmental activism, a reminder that preservation requires defenders. Today, Gullfoss welcomes hundreds of thousands of visitors annually, generating far more economic value through tourism than it would have produced through hydroelectric power. The Golden Circle's 3 sites encapsulate Iceland's essence: tectonic forces, volcanic heat, glacial water, and human history intertwined. The South Coast. Waterfalls of the South. Seljalandsfoss offers a unique experience. You can walk behind it. A pathway leads around the falls, allowing you to stand between falling water and cliff face. The experience is exhilarating and soaking wet. Spray drenches anyone attempting the circuit, but the view from behind the water curtain justifies discomfort. Sunlight filters through falling water, creating rainbows across moss-covered rock. The sound is overwhelming, making conversation impossible. The cliff from which Seljalandsfoss falls was once Iceland's coastline. The Atlantic reached this far inland before volcanic activity added new land to the south. Standing behind the waterfall, you're where ocean waves once crashed, now 30 kilometers from the current shore. A dramatic transformation within 10,000 years, geological yesterday. Nearby Skogafoss contrasts Seljalandsfoss's elegance through sheer power. 60 meters high and 25 meters wide, Skogafoss produces mist visible from kilometers away. The spray creates constant rainbows, sometimes doubles when conditions align. Legend claims Viking treasure is hidden behind Skogafoss, left by settlers who knew Iceland's inhabitants would need wealth to survive this harsh land. The treasure has never been found, but legend persists, adding mystery to beauty. A staircase beside Skogafoss climbs over 400 steps to the cliff top, offering views across Iceland's southern lowlands to the Atlantic. The climb is challenging, but the perspective is extraordinary. From above, you see how the Skoga River approaches the cliff edge, how the land falls away dramatically. How the waterfall is merely one point in the river's journey from glacier to ocean. Both waterfalls demonstrate Iceland's constant transformation. Water carving rock, landscapes evolving, the island reshaping itself through erosion and deposition. Black sand beaches. The black sand beaches of Iceland's south coast create landscapes of stark, alien beauty. Reynisfjara, near the village of Vík, is the most famous. Volcanic basalt sand, ground fine by millennia of wave action, creates beaches as black as coal. The contrast with white foam from Atlantic breakers is dramatic, almost artificial in its extremity. But Reynisfjara's beauty is deceptive and dangerous. The beach is one of Iceland's most hazardous locations. Sneaker waves, unusually large waves that arrive without warning, regularly sweep tourists off their feet, dragging them into frigid waters. The undertow is powerful. The water temperature lethal. Multiple drownings have occurred despite warnings and barriers. The Atlantic Ocean, even in summer, shows no mercy to human error or ignorance. The beach's basalt columns, formed when lava cooled rapidly, create natural cathedrals of geometric precision. The hexagonal columns, fitting together like a giant's causeway, demonstrate how cooling lava contracts and fractures in predictable patterns. These formations, called garter, rise directly from the beach, creating caves and alcoves where locals once sought shelter from storms. The columns are so regular they appear man-made, but they're entirely natural, created by cooling processes that occurred millions of years ago. Offshore, the Reynostranger sea stacks rise from the ocean like petrified trolls. Which, according to Icelandic folklore, is exactly what they are. Legends describe two trolls attempting to drag a ship ashore when dawn broke, turning them to stone. The stacks are dramatic, especially during storms when waves crash against them with explosive force. Dyrhólaey Promontory, south of Reynisfjara, provides elevated views of the coast. The arch for which it's named, Dyrhólaey, means door-hole island, is large enough for small boats to pass through. Puffins nest here in summer. Their comical appearance and clumsy flight making them tourist favorites. Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. Jökulsárlón is the glacier lagoon that has become one of Iceland's most iconic locations. Here, Breiðamerkurjökull Glacier, an outlet of massive Vatnajökull ice cap, calves icebergs into a deep lagoon created by glacial retreat. The icebergs, ranging from car-sized to house-sized, drift through the lagoon before floating through a short river into the Atlantic Ocean. The ice comes in shades of white and blue, the blue created by compressed ice absorbing all light wavelengths except blue. Some bergs contain black streaks. Volcanic ash from eruptions centuries ago, locked in ice and now released as the glacier melts. The icebergs drift slowly, pushed by wind and current, rotating to reveal new faces, constantly changing the lagoon's appearance. Boat tours navigate among the bergs, bringing visitors close to ice formations of sculptural beauty. Seals lounge on ice floes, indifferent to human presence. Arctic terns dive for fish in the frigid water. The atmosphere is serene despite the profound changes occurring. This lagoon didn't exist 60 years ago. It is formed entirely through glacial retreat, growing year by year as Yakutia withdraws further into the mountains. The lagoon is now Iceland's deepest lake, over 250 meters at its deepest point. Demonstrating how much ice has disappeared. Across the highway from Jökulsárlón lies Diamond Beach, where icebergs that float into the Atlantic are pushed back onto black sand beaches by waves. The ice glistens like scattered diamonds on dark sand, creating one of Iceland's most photographed scenes. The contrast is extreme, frozen purity meeting volcanic darkness. Temporary ice meeting eternal sand. The bergs, battered by waves, polished to transparency. Capturing and refracting light in ways that seem almost artificial. Walking Diamond Beach. At sunrise or sunset, when low-angle light transforms ice into glowing gems, feels like wandering through a jewelry display created by nature. But the beauty is melancholy. Each diamond represents glacial loss, ice that took centuries to form now melting in hours. Volcanic Iceland. Eyjafjallajökull, the volcano that stopped Europe. Eyjafjallajökull became internationally famous in 2010 when its eruption disrupted global air travel for weeks. The volcano's name, unpronounceable to most non-Icelanders, became a household word as ash clouds closed airspace across Europe, stranding millions of travelers. But the eruption, though globally disruptive, was moderate by Icelandic standards. The volcano sits beneath a glacier. Eyjafjallajökull means island mountain glacier. Creating explosive interaction between lava and ice. Meltwater mixed with volcanic ash created massive floods called Jökulhlaups. Ash plumes rose to over 9 kilometers, spreading across the Atlantic. The eruption demonstrated Iceland's capacity to impact global systems, despite being a small island nation. The ash was particularly problematic for aircraft. Fine volcanic glass particles can melt in jet engines, causing catastrophic failure. Airlines had no choice but to ground flights, creating the largest air travel disruption since World War II. The economic impact exceeded billions of dollars in lost revenue and productivity. Today, you can visit Eyjafjallajökull and see the landscape it transformed. The glacier has retreated significantly since the eruption, melted by volcanic heat. New land has been created by lava flows and ash deposits. The farms buried by ash have been excavated, some preserved as museums, showing how quickly volcanic eruptions can change everything. The visitor center tells the story of the eruption from the perspective of local farmers who watched their land transform overnight, who had to evacuate repeatedly, who lost livestock and livelihoods. But Eyjafjallajökull is just one of Iceland's 30 volcanic systems, many of which pose greater threats. Its neighbor Katla, hidden beneath the larger Mýrdalsjökull glacier, erupts on average every 40 to 80 years and hasn't erupted since 1918. When Katla erupts again, and geologists agree it will, the impact could dwarf Eyjafjallajökull's disruption. Fagradalsfjall, the tourist eruption. In March 2021, the Reykjanes Peninsula erupted after 8 centuries of volcanic quiet. Fagradalsfjall volcano produced spectacular lava fountains and flows visible from Reykjavik, just 40 kilometers away. Unlike explosive eruptions, this was effusive, lava flowing rather than exploding, allowing relatively safe observation from designated areas. Thousands of Icelanders hiked to witness the eruption, treating it almost as entertainment despite obvious dangers. The eruption continued for 6 months, creating new lava fields covering over 3 square kilometers, adding new land to Iceland. The site became a tourist attraction with marked trails leading to viewpoints where you could stand meters from flowing lava, feeling the radiant heat, watching Earth's interior become Earth's surface in real time. The lava fountains sometimes reach 300 meters high, spraying molten rock into the air. At night, the glow was visible from Reykjavik, painting the sky orange. Helicopter tours offered aerial views of the lava lake, the active vents, the growing lava field. But Fagradalsfjall was merely the beginning. Additional eruptions occurred in 2022 and 2023 at different locations on the Reykjanes Peninsula. Suggesting the region has entered an active period that may continue for decades or centuries. The fishing town of Grindavik faces existential threat from new fissures opening nearby and underground magma intrusions. Residents have been evacuated multiple times. Ground is fracturing, buildings are cracking, roads are heaving. The question isn't if another eruption will occur, but when and where, and whether Grindavik can survive in its current location. These recent eruptions, while spectacular, are relatively benign compared to historical events. They remind Icelanders that their island is young, still forming, still dangerous. Living in Iceland means accepting that the ground beneath your feet is temporary. That volcanic eruptions are not disasters to be prevented, but natural processes to be respected and adapted to. The Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis, the fire in the sky. The Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, transforms Iceland's winter sky into a celestial light show. These dancing curtains of green, purple, and red light result from charged particles from the sun colliding with Earth's atmosphere, causing gases to glow. Though scientifically explained, witnessing the aurora feels supernatural. Light that moves, pulses, dances across the sky in ways that seem almost alive. The lights appear most frequently near Earth's magnetic poles, making Iceland an ideal viewing location. From September through April, when nights are long and dark, the aurora can appear on clear nights. The best viewing requires darkness, clear skies, and minimal light pollution. Conditions easily found outside Reykjavik and other towns. Watching the aurora is an exercise in patience and awe. The lights can appear suddenly, faint green glow on the northern horizon strengthening and spreading across the sky. Curtains of light ripple and fold like silk fabric blown by cosmic winds. Colors shift, mostly green from oxygen atoms, but sometimes red at higher altitudes, purple when nitrogen contributes. The aurora is silent, though legend claims you can hear it. Whispers and cracks like distant fireworks. Science finds no mechanism for aurora-generated sound. Yet many observers, including this writer, have heard something during particularly intense displays. Perhaps it's psychological, the mind creating sounds to match visual splendor. Or perhaps there's a phenomenon science hasn't yet explained. The Icelandic folklore surrounding the aurora is darker than you might expect. Some legends claim the lights are spirits of the dead dancing in the afterlife. Others warn pregnant women not to look at the aurora, lest their children be born cross-eyed. These tales reflect the aurora's unsettling beauty, something so strange it demands supernatural explanation. Photographing the aurora requires patience, tripod, long exposures, and luck. The lights must be strong enough and the sky clear enough. Many visitors see only faint glows that appear green in photos but barely visible to eyes. But when strong displays occur, no photograph can capture the experience. The movement, the scale, the overwhelming presence of light filling the sky, chasing the lights. Aurora hunting has become an industry in Iceland. Tour companies offer evening excursions, driving to locations away from light pollution, providing hot chocolate and folklore while waiting for the lights to appear. Success isn't guaranteed. Clouds, new moon phases, and solar activity all affect visibility. Some tours offer repeat trips if the first night fails, but many tourists have only 1 or 2 chances to see the aurora during their visit. The aurora forecast predicts activity on a scale from 0 to 9, based on solar wind measurements and Earth's magnetic field fluctuations. Forecasts of 3 or higher suggest good chances, though. Even level 1 can produce visible displays under perfect conditions. Cloud cover is often the greater obstacle. Iceland's weather is notoriously unpredictable, and overcast skies block even the strongest aurora. Independent aurora hunting means driving into darkness, stopping at promising locations, watching the sky. Apps provide forecasts and cloud cover predictions. The ritual becomes meditative, standing in cold darkness, breath fogging, eyes adjusting to night, scanning the northern sky for the first hints of green glow. When the aurora appears, other hunters arrive. Word spreading through social media and tour groups. Suddenly, a remote parking area fills with cars and people, all looking skyward, cameras clicking. The shared experience creates community among strangers, united in witnessing something extraordinary. The strongest auroras create full sky displays, light stretching from horizon to horizon, directly overhead, pulsing and dancing with visible movement. These are rare, requiring perfect conditions. But when they occur, they're unforgettable. During major geomagnetic storms, the aurora can be seen even in Reykjavik despite light pollution, occasionally reaching southern latitudes normally aurora-free. These events make headlines, drawing Icelanders outside to witness the show. Winter in Iceland is dark and challenging, but the aurora provides compensation. Beauty that justifies enduring long nights and harsh cold. Folklore and science. Ancient cultures worldwide developed myths explaining the aurora. Norse mythology described the Bifrost Bridge connecting Midgard to Asgard, sometimes manifesting as aurora. Finnish legends told of the fox whose tail swept sparks across the sky. Indigenous Arctic peoples had dozens of interpretations, spirits, omens, manifestations of natural forces beyond human understanding. Icelandic folklore surrounding the aurora is less developed than in some Arctic cultures, possibly because Iceland was settled relatively recently by people who brought Christian beliefs that displaced older pagan interpretations. But some folk beliefs persist. Pregnant women warned against watching the aurora, associations with death and spirits, respect for the lights as something beyond normal nature. Modern science explains the aurora through electromagnetic physics and atmospheric chemistry. Solar wind, charged particles streaming from the sun, interacts with Earth's magnetic field. The field funnels these particles toward the poles, where they collide with oxygen and nitrogen atoms in the upper atmosphere. The collisions excite these atoms, which release energy as light when returning to normal state. Oxygen produces green and red light, nitrogen creates blue and purple. The altitude of collision determines color. Oxygen at lower altitudes creates the common green aurora, while oxygen at higher altitudes produces rare red aurora. The shape and movement result from magnetic field lines guiding charged particles, creating curtains aligned with field geometry. Understanding the science doesn't diminish the aurora's wonder. If anything, understanding that you're watching solar particles colliding with atmospheric gases hundreds of kilometers above Earth, guided by magnetic fields invisible to human senses, reveals the aurora as even more remarkable. This isn't myth or magic, it's physics creating beauty through processes operating at scales vast beyond human intuition. The aurora is a visible manifestation of our planet's relationship with the sun, a reminder that Earth exists in space. Subject to cosmic forces that shape everything from climate to evolution to the lights that dance across polar skies. The glaciers. Vatnajökull, Europe's largest ice cap. Vatnajökull, meaning water glacier, is Europe's largest ice cap by volume, covering over 8% of Iceland with ice up to 900 meters thick. This massive glacier feeds numerous outlet glaciers that flow toward the coast like frozen rivers. The ice cap sits atop several active volcanic systems, including Iceland's most active volcano, Grímsvötn, which erupts every 5 to 10 years beneath the ice. When subglacial eruptions occur, the interaction between lava and ice is catastrophic. The heat melts enormous quantities of ice almost instantly, creating massive floods called jökullaups that surge toward the coast with devastating force. These floods carry icebergs the size of houses, volcanic debris, and sediment, transforming landscape within hours. Bridges designed to withstand normal floods are swept away. Roads disappear. The 1996 Grímsvötn eruption created a jökullaup with peak flow of 50,000 cubic meters per second, comparable to the Amazon River's flow. Vatnajökull's outlet glaciers create Iceland's most dramatic landscapes. Skaftafellsjökull, Svinafellsjökull, and others descend from the ice cap, their surfaces fractured with crevasses, their edges calving small icebergs into glacial lagoons. These glaciers are retreating rapidly due to climate change. Photographs from 50 years ago show ice extending kilometers beyond current positions. The retreat exposes new land, barren, rocky terrain that hasn't seen sunlight in centuries or millennia. Guided glacier walks allow visitors to explore these ice rivers safely. Equipped with crampons and ice axes, you walk across surfaces that are simultaneously solid and flowing. Crevasses split the ice, revealing depths where blue ice grades into darkness. Moulins, vertical shafts where meltwater drains into the glacier, plunge to unknown depths, the sound of falling water echoing from below. Ice caves form within the glaciers where meltwater carves tunnels. These caves are temporary, collapsing and reforming constantly, but when accessible, they're spectacular. Walls of crystalline blue ice, natural sculptures created by flowing water. Jökulsárlón's neighbor, Fjalsárlón. While Jökulsárlón attracts crowds, its neighbor Fjalsárlón offers a more intimate glacier lagoon experience. Fed by Fjalsjökull, an outlet of Vatnajökull, this smaller lagoon features fewer but often larger icebergs in a more confined space. The setting is dramatic. Steep mountains rising directly from the lagoon's shores, the glacier tongue descending between peaks. Icebergs floating in water so still it mirrors the sky. Boat tours navigate closer to the glacier face than is possible at Jökulsárlón, bringing you within meters of the calving zone where ice breaks from the glacier. The sound of calving is profound, deep groans and cracks as ice under immense pressure fractures, followed by the crash and splash as bergs fall into the water. The waves generated by large calving events can rock boats violently, reminding you of the forces involved. The ice here shows more variety than at Jökulsárlón. Some bergs are white with trapped air bubbles, others are blue from compression. Some contain layers of volcanic ash from past eruptions, black streaks frozen in white ice, creating abstract patterns. The largest bergs rise 10 meters above the water's surface, meaning 30 meters or more extends below. Massive ice sculptures slowly melting and rotating. The lagoon is deepening and expanding as the glacier retreats. Each year, the glacier face moves further up the valley, leaving more open water. Within a few decades, the glacier may retreat beyond the lagoon entirely, connected only by a river. This is happening across Iceland, glaciers withdrawing, lagoons growing, landscapes transforming. Scientists monitor these changes through repeat photography, satellite imagery, and direct measurement. The data is unequivocal. Iceland's glaciers are shrinking at accelerating rates, losing billions of tons of ice annually. This isn't just environmental concern, it's cultural loss. The glaciers define Iceland's identity and landscape. Their disappearance means the loss of features that have existed since the last ice age. Ice caves of Vatnajökull. Every winter, ice caves form beneath Vatnajökull's outlet glaciers, created by meltwater streams that carve tunnels through the ice. These caves are ephemeral, forming in autumn, accessible in winter when meltwater freezes, collapsing in spring when melt resumes. Each cave is unique, existing for one season before disappearing forever. Entering an ice cave is entering another world. The walls glow electric blue, ice so compressed that it absorbs all wavelengths except blue. Light filters through the ice, creating an ethereal luminescence that seems to come from the ice itself rather than external sources. The ceiling is ribbed and sculpted by flowing water, creating organic forms that resemble frozen waves. The floor is smooth ice, requiring crampons for traction. Some caves extend hundreds of meters into the glacier, winding tunnels leading deeper into darkness. Others are shorter, crystal chambers, where every surface reflects and refracts light. The experience is both beautiful and unsettling. You're inside a glacier, surrounded by thousands of tons of ice that's simultaneously solid and flowing. The ice creaks and groans as the glacier moves, subtle shifts and adjustments as pressure redistributes. These sounds are reminders that glaciers are dynamic, not static. They flow like very slow rivers, a few centimeters per day, grinding over bedrock, carving valleys, reshaping mountains. The caves can collapse without warning, making guided tours essential for safety. Professional guides monitor structural integrity, check weather conditions, assess risks before allowing access. They know which caves are stable, which are too dangerous when conditions are changing. Despite precautions, ice cave exploration involves inherent risk. You're entering a temporary structure in a dynamic environment. But the beauty justifies the risk for those who venture here. Photographs don't capture the experience, the sense of scale, the quality of light, the alien beauty of crystalline blue extending in every direction. Ice caves are Iceland's hidden wonders, accessible only to those willing to brave winter conditions and venture onto glaciers. Geothermal wonders. Blue Lagoon, the accidental paradise. The Blue Lagoon, Iceland's most famous geothermal spa, was created accidentally in 1976 when a geothermal power plant discharged superheated water into a lava field. The water, rich in minerals including silica and sulfur, collected in natural depressions, creating pools of milky blue water. Workers at the power plant began bathing in the lagoon, noticing improvements in skin conditions. Word spread. and what began as industrial runoff became Iceland's premier tourist attraction. Today, the Blue Lagoon is a sophisticated spa complex, but the water remains geothermal runoff from the Svartsengi power plant. The temperature is maintained at a comfortable 37–40 degrees Celsius year-round. The milky blue color comes from silica suspended in the water, which also gives the lagoon bottom its white appearance. The water is constantly flowing through. The entire lagoon is replenished every 40 hours, ensuring freshness and cleanliness. Bathing in the Blue Lagoon is a surreal experience. Steam rises from the surface, obscuring other bathers, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. The contrast is dramatic, floating in warm water while cold air chills your face, especially vivid in winter when snow falls on the surrounding lava fields. Silica mud is available at stations around the lagoon. Smearing this white mud on your face and body is traditional, creating a spa mask that makes everyone look ghostly. The minerals in the water, particularly silica and algae, are said to benefit skin conditions like psoriasis. Whether through placebo effect or genuine therapeutic properties, many visitors report improvements. The lagoon setting enhances the experience, surrounded by black lava fields, with the geothermal power plant's steam plumes visible in the background, a reminder that this beauty is industrial byproduct. The Blue Lagoon represents Iceland's pragmatic relationship with volcanic forces, turning what could be waste into economic and recreational resource. There exists a continent that belongs to no nation. A wilderness where humans are visitors, never residents. A frozen desert larger than Europe, where temperatures plunge to -90 degrees Celsius and winds scream at 300 kilometers per hour. This is the last place on Earth discovered by humans. The final frontier of exploration. The ultimate test of human endurance against nature's fury. Welcome to Antarctica. The white continent, the bottom of the world, the end of everything. Here, 90% of Earth's ice lies frozen in sheets up to 5 kilometers thick. Here, the coldest temperature ever recorded was measured, -89.2 degrees at Vostok Station. Here, the driest desert on Earth receives less precipitation than the Sahara, yet contains 70% of the world's fresh water locked in ice. Crossing the Drake, the most dangerous passage. Before you experience Antarctica, you must survive the Drake Passage. This 600-kilometer stretch of water between South America's Cape Horn and Antarctica's South Shetland Islands is the roughest ocean crossing on Earth. Here, the Atlantic, Pacific, and Southern Oceans converge with no land to slow them. The Antarctic Circumpolar Current, the world's largest ocean current, funnels through the Drake, creating waves that can reach 15 meters high. Ships pitch and roll with stomach-churning violence. Even experienced sailors turn green. The crossing takes 2 days under good conditions, longer in storms. Not green hills or beaches, but mountains rising directly from the sea. Their peaks white against gray sky, their slopes impossibly steep. These are the South Shetland Islands, Antarctica's northern sentries. The ship slows, navigating between ice floes, adjusting course as conditions dictate. You've arrived at the end of the world. First landing. The Zodiac boat bounces across choppy water, carrying you from ship to shore. Regulations prohibit permanent structures for tourism. So every landing is made via these inflatable boats. Piloted by expedition staff who navigate between ice chunks and breaking waves. As the Zodiac approaches shore, you notice the smell first. It's pungent, overwhelming. Penguin guano accumulated over centuries. This is your first lesson about Antarctica. It's not sterile. It's not pristine. Where life exists, it exists abundantly, messily, aromatically. The landing is ungainly. the expedition schedule demands movement. There are more landings, more sights, more wonders to witness. Antarctica is generous with its beauty, but unforgiving of wasted time. Wildlife encounters. Antarctica seems barren, but this is illusion. The continent supports minimal terrestrial life. But the surrounding waters teem with abundance. Penguins, seals, and whales congregate in concentrations found nowhere else on Earth. The penguin colonies are overwhelming. Thousands of Gen 2 penguins crowd hillsides, their white bellies bright against dark rock. But the true giants are the emperor penguins, found further south, breeding on sea ice during the brutal Antarctic winter. These meter-tall birds, standing stoically through the darkest, coldest winter on Earth, exemplify survival against impossible odds. Seals appear unexpectedly. Weddell seal lounges on ice, so fat and relaxed it seems boneless. These seals can dive to 600 meters, holding their breath for over an hour. But on the surface, they're supremely lazy. Conserving energy between hunting expeditions. Leopard seals are different. These apex predators, 3 meters long and 400 kilograms of muscle and teeth, hunt penguins with terrifying efficiency. Then the whales appear. A blow in the distance, a vertical spout of mist. Then another. Humpback whales are feeding, diving deep, surfacing with mouths full of krill. These giants travel from tropical breeding grounds to Antarctica. Feeding grounds annually, covering thousands of kilometers. Orcas patrol in pods, their dorsal fins cutting water like knives. These are the Antarctic's ultimate predators. Hunting seals, penguins, even other whales. Watching orcas hunt is witnessing intelligence in action. Coordinated attacks, strategic planning, teaching younger pod members. The wildlife encounters are constant, overwhelming, humbling. They're not visiting Antarctica. This is their home. We're the visitors. The ice itself. Antarctica's true marvel isn't the wildlife. It's the ice. 90% of the world's ice, 2/3 of Earth's fresh water, locked in frozen sheets that average 2 kilometers thick. The ice sheet isn't uniform. It's divided into East Antarctica and West Antarctica, separated by the Transantarctic Mountains. East Antarctica's ice sheet is ancient, stable, up to 5 kilometers thick in places. It's been there for millions of years, accumulating snowfall that compresses into ice under its own weight. West Antarctica's ice sheet is younger, thinner, less stable. Much of it rests on bedrock below sea level, making it vulnerable to warming ocean waters. This is where scientists focus concern. If West Antarctic ice sheets collapse, global sea levels rise by meters, flooding coastal cities worldwide. But visitors experience ice not through statistics, but through direct encounter. Glaciers calve into the sea, producing icebergs that drift on currents for years. Some are small, car-sized chunks. Others are tabular bergs, flat-topped ice islands that can be hundreds of kilometers across. In 2017, an iceberg called A68 calved from the Larsen Sea ice shelf. It measured 5,800 square kilometers, nearly as large as Delaware. This ice is a library of climate history, preserving atmospheric samples in air bubbles, recording temperature through isotope ratios, documenting volcanic eruptions through ash layers. Scientists drill ice cores to read this library, extracting cylinders of ice that span hundreds of thousands of years. These cores reveal past climate changes, showing how quickly Earth's climate can shift. How fragile the balance is, how unprecedented current warming is. The ice is teacher and warning. It shows us the past, it shows us the present, it shows us the future we're creating through our choices. The research stations. McMurdo, Antarctica's metropolis. McMurdo Station on Ross Island is Antarctica's largest settlement. Over 1,000 people work here during summer, conducting research, maintaining infrastructure, supporting field operations. This is as close to a town as Antarctica gets. Complete with dormitories, cafeterias, laboratories, fire station, even a general store and bar. McMurdo was established by the United States in 1955 as a logistics hub for the South Pole Station. It's grown into a small industrial complex, fuel storage tanks, vehicle maintenance facilities, helicopter hangars, research laboratories, living quarters. The aesthetic is functional rather than beautiful. Modular buildings painted bright colors stand in rows. Dirt roads connect facilities. The landscape is volcanic rock and dirt, rare ice-free ground in Antarctica. Mount Erebus, the southernmost active volcano on Earth, looms over the station, occasionally producing steam and ash. Life at McMurdo is structured. Work schedules are rigorous. Free time is precious. Social life revolves around the galley. Communal dining area where everyone from scientists to maintenance workers gather. The Galley Talker is the community information board, posting announcements, upcoming events, weather updates. The station has environmental impacts, waste disposal, fuel storage, infrastructure footprints. Efforts are made to minimize impacts, but the reality is that thousands of people require resources, generate waste, and alter landscapes. South Pole Station. The Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station sits at 90 degrees south. The geographic South Pole, the axis around which Earth rotates. This is the bottom of the world in the most literal sense. Reaching the South Pole requires flying from McMurdo, weather permitting. The flight crosses the Transantarctic Mountains, revealing glaciers that flow between peaks like frozen rivers. Then the plateau, flat white extending to every horizon, the most featureless landscape on Earth. The station sits on ice that's moving. The entire Antarctic ice sheet flows slowly toward the coast. The South Pole Station moves about 10 meters per year, carried by ice flow. A ceremonial pole marks the geographic South Pole, relocated annually to account for ice movement. The station itself is an engineering marvel, a structure elevated on stilts that can be raised as snow accumulates beneath. The design prevents the fate of the previous station, which was gradually buried by blowing snow and eventually had to be abandoned. Life at the South Pole is extreme, even by Antarctic standards. The altitude, 9,300 feet, combined with cold, dense air, creates effective altitude of 10,500 feet. Newcomers experience altitude sickness, headaches, nausea, shortness of breath. Above you, the atmosphere is thin, the sky deep purple even at midday. You're as far from anywhere as humans can get while remaining on Earth's surface. This is the ultimate expression of the end of the world. Research and science. Antarctica isn't just beautiful. It's scientifically invaluable. Research conducted here advances understanding of climate, astronomy, geology, biology, and physics. Ice core research extracts climate history from ancient ice. Cores drilled from deep ice sheets preserve atmospheric samples dating back 800,000 years. By analyzing these samples, scientists reconstruct past temperatures, atmospheric composition, volcanic activity, and even cosmic dust. This research has revealed critical findings. Earth's climate has fluctuated dramatically over geological time, with ice ages alternating with warmer periods. But current carbon dioxide levels exceed any recorded in ice cores. The warming we're experiencing is unprecedented in both speed and cause. Astronomy benefits from Antarctic conditions. The pole's high altitude, dry air, and months of darkness create ideal observing conditions. The very environment scientists study is threatening the infrastructure needed to study it. Hidden histories. Antarctica has human history. Though brief compared to other continents. Explorers began reaching Antarctic waters in the early 1800s. The first confirmed landing was in 1821. Though earlier undocumented landings may have occurred. The heroic age of Antarctic exploration, from roughly 1897 to 1922, saw legendary expeditions race to the South Pole and conduct the first systematic scientific studies. These expeditions faced unimaginable hardships: wooden ships crushed by ice, men hauling sledges across frozen wastes, scurvy and frostbite, starvation and death. Ernest Shackleton's endurance expedition is the most famous survival story. When his ship was crushed by pack ice, Shackleton led his crew on a months-long ordeal across ice and sea. Eventually reaching South Georgia Island in a lifeboat. Remarkably, all crew members survived, a testament to Shackleton's leadership. Research stations abandoned and reclaimed by ice. Each layer of human activity adds to the continent's story, though human presence remains marginal compared to the ice's eternal dominance. Landscapes of ice. The peninsula. The Antarctic Peninsula extends north toward South America, making it the most accessible part of the continent. This is where most tourists visit. Experiencing Antarctica's most dramatic scenery and densest wildlife concentrations. The peninsula's landscape is spectacular. Mountains rise directly from the sea. Their slopes too steep for snow accumulation, except in gullies and plateaus. Glaciers cascade between peaks, calving icebergs into channels and bays. The coastline is a maze of islands, channels, and inlets, creating protected waters where navigation is possible. Paradise Bay lives up to its name. Surrounded by mountains and glaciers, the bay offers anchorage in calm waters with views of stunning beauty. Most alive, most photographically spectacular. The landscapes sear into memory, mountain vistas, glacier faces, ice formations, wildlife encounters. This is why people travel to the end of the world. The dry valleys. In a continent covered by ice, the dry valleys stand as improbable exception, ice-free valleys where no snow has fallen for millions of years. These valleys, near McMurdo Sound, are among Earth's driest, coldest, most Mars-like environments. The valleys remain ice-free because of unique conditions. Katabatic winds, gravity-driven winds flowing from the ice sheet, blast through the valleys at over 300 kilometers per hour. These winds evaporate any moisture before it can accumulate as ice or snow. The landscape is barren rock and gravel, colored in reds and browns from oxidized minerals. The scale is vast. Valleys dozens of kilometers long, mountains rising sharply from valley floors. Everything utterly sterile. This is as close to alien landscape as Earth offers. Yet life persists. Cryptoendolithic bacteria live inside rock pores, protected from extreme conditions, photosynthesizing through translucent minerals. This is nature reduced to essentials. Rock, wind, cold, and nothingness. The Ross Ice Shelf. The Ross Ice Shelf is the world's largest body of floating ice. Roughly the size of France. With an area of 487,000 square kilometers. This ice shelf floats on the Ross Sea. Fed by glaciers flowing from the West Antarctic ice sheet. The shelf's edge, called the Ross Ice Shelf Front, rises up to 50 meters above. Water, a vertical cliff of ice extending for hundreds of kilometers. Standing before this wall of ice, you're facing something that shouldn't exist by normal logic. A floating island of ice thicker than a 10-story building is tall. Supply routes to the South Pole cross the shelf. Research projects drill through the shelf to access the ocean beneath, discovering ecosystems in darkness that survive on chemicals and settling organic matter. The emperor penguin colonies. Emperor penguins breed on sea ice during Antarctic winter, the harshest environment for reproduction on Earth. These meter-tall birds endure temperatures below -40. Winds over 150 kilometers per hour, and months of darkness to raise their chicks. Reaching an emperor colony requires specialized expedition, usually by helicopter or icebreaker to remote sea ice locations. The colonies are spectacular, thousands of penguins huddled together for warmth, standing stoically through blizzards. The breeding cycle is precisely timed. Emperors arrive at colonies in March as winter begins. Females lay a single egg, then depart for the ocean to feed, leaving males to incubate eggs through the darkest, coldest months. Males balance eggs on their feet covered by a flap of abdominal skin, while fasting for over 2 months. The penguin that epitomizes Antarctic resilience may be among its first climate casualties. Beneath the ice, subglacial lakes. Beneath Antarctica's ice sheet lie over 400 subglacial lakes. Bodies of liquid water trapped between ice and bedrock, isolated from the surface world for millions of years. These lakes exist because of immense pressure from overlying ice and geothermal heat from Earth's interior. Lake Vostok is the largest, discovered beneath Russia's Vostok Station. This lake measures 250 kilometers long and 50 kilometers wide. With depths exceeding 1,000 meters. It's been sealed beneath 4 kilometers of ice for at least 15 million years. The lake represents a unique ecosystem. If life exists there, it has evolved in complete isolation, in darkness, under enormous pressure. Increased meltwater on the surface percolates down, potentially reaching and altering these ancient lakes. We may contaminate them not through direct access, but through climate change. An indirect, uncontrolled contamination is far worse than careful scientific sampling. The hidden mountains. Beneath Antarctica's ice sheet lies a landscape we've never seen. Mountains, valleys, canyons, all buried under kilometers of ice. This hidden topography influences ice flow, determines where subglacial lakes form, and affects how the ice sheet will respond to warming. The Gamburtsev Mountains, discovered through ice-penetrating radar, rise to nearly 3,000 meters elevation. Hidden completely beneath the East Antarctic ice sheet. These mountains shouldn't exist. Geological models suggest they should have eroded away millions of years ago. Their persistence is a mystery. Some scientists propose that the ice sheet itself preserved them, protecting rock from weathering. Others suggest tectonic activity continually uplifts the range. Conversely, if ice sheets collapse, this hidden topography will determine what replaces them. Ocean, islands, or new landscapes exposed for the first time in millions of years. Life in extreme cold. Antarctic marine life thrives in water that hovers around -1.8 degrees Celsius, seawater's freezing point. Fish swimming in these waters should freeze solid. Yet they survive through remarkable adaptations. Antarctic fish produce antifreeze proteins. Molecules that prevent ice crystal formation in blood and tissues. These proteins bind to ice crystals as they form, preventing their growth. The discovery of antifreeze proteins revolutionized cold tolerance science. And has applications from organ preservation to food industry. Some Antarctic fish have lost hemoglobin and myoglobin, the proteins that make blood red in most vertebrates. Some Antarctic fish have lost hemoglobin and myoglobin, the proteins that make blood red in most vertebrates. These ice fish have clear blood and pale white tissue. These organisms demonstrate life's extraordinary adaptability. Antarctica isn't a sterile desert, it's a functioning ecosystem where life has found ways to persist despite conditions that seem incompatible with biology. The lesson is humbling. Life is far more resilient, more creative, more persistent than we imagine. The Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean, circling Antarctica, is Earth's wildest ocean. A band of water where no land interrupts the westerly winds that drive waves to enormous heights. The Antarctic circumpolar current flowing through this ocean is the world's most powerful ocean current, moving 100 times more water than the Amazon River. This ocean is incredibly productive. Cold water upwelling brings nutrients from deep ocean to surface, fueling phytoplankton blooms that support the entire Antarctic food web. The productivity rivals tropical rainforests, though it occurs in a much shorter season. The data is sobering. The Southern Ocean is absorbing enormous amounts of heat and carbon, buffering atmospheric changes but at tremendous cost to marine ecosystems. How long this buffering can continue, and what happens when the ocean's capacity to absorb heat and carbon is exceeded, remains uncertain. Human impact and climate change, the Antarctic Treaty. In 1959, 12 nations signed the Antarctic Treaty. Designating Antarctica for peace and science. The treaty prohibits military activity. Mineral mining, nuclear testing, and nuclear waste disposal. It requires that scientific observations and results be shared freely. The treaty is remarkable for what it prevents. During the height of the Cold War, rival superpowers agreed to leave one continent untouched by military competition. No nation owns Antarctica, though 7 countries maintain territorial claims that the treaty neither recognizes nor disputes. It simply sets them aside. Despite challenges, the Antarctic Treaty remains one of history's most successful international agreements. It demonstrates that nations can cooperate for common good, setting aside narrow interests for broader benefits. In a world of increasing conflict and competition, Antarctica stands as proof that different approaches are possible. Tourism's footprint. Antarctic tourism has exploded. What began as a handful of adventurers on expedition ships has become an industry bringing tens of thousands of visitors annually. The economic benefits are significant. Tourism supports local economies in South America and employs thousands. But the environmental costs are concerning. Tourist ships burn bunker fuel. Heavy polluting petroleum that releases black carbon. This carbon settles on snow and ice, darkening surfaces that then absorb more heat and melt faster. The contribution to melting is measurable, though small compared to global emissions. Landings concentrate visitors at a limited number of sites. Tourists who understand their impact can make informed choices. Selecting operators with strong environmental policies, offsetting emissions, supporting conservation organizations, advocating for Antarctic protection. The alternative, tourism continuing unchecked, growing exponentially. Prioritizing profit over preservation would be catastrophic. Antarctica deserves better. so do the people who will inherit the planet we're shaping through our choices today.